party people. Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, where the gaming table is always set for two. I am your host, as always, Jeff Stormer. This week, I am joined once again by the wonderful Brandon Leon-Gambetta for a GM-less take on Apocalypse World. Brandon, of course, is one of the hosts of Stop, Hack, and Roll, a fantastic discussion podcast in which he and James Malloy talk the nuts and bolts of hacking your favorite role-playing games. He's also one of the hosts of the brand new Masks actual play, Protean City Comics, both of which you can find more information about in the show notes. Now, I gotta tell you, I am beyond excited about this episode for a lot of different reasons. One, Apocalypse World is one of the most influential games of the last 25 years. If you're familiar with the phrase powered by the apocalypse, this is where that term comes from. So playing it on the show and hacking it into a two-player format was very exciting. It's also exciting because this is a sequel to one of my all-time favorite episodes, which was our GM-less Dungeon World episode, which is to say, this is the ongoing saga of Randy, the Warthog Hogg, and Sir Darian, the Mouse Knight. If you haven't listened to that episode, you should go listen to it, because it's really, really good. So yeah, I am beyond excited for you to hear this episode, so let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past, so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. This week, I am sitting down once again with Brandon Leon-Gambetta. Brandon, thank you so much for coming back on Party of One.
Oh, Jeff, I'm so excited. This is one of my very favorite times, is when I can just sit down and play a game with you. It's such a joy.
I so strongly agree, and I cannot wait to play this particular game, because it's one that's a long time coming, and I'm so excited. But first, anything you'd like to tell the audience at home, any cool projects you're working on, any cool podcasts you're a part of, all that cool stuff.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so I've got kind of three big projects. One is Stop, Hack, and Roll, a podcast about hacking games that has led to the development of a couple of games that James and I are working on in a pretty big way. He's my co-host. The second thing is actually a game that the Ashcan is going to be coming out. Pasión de las Pasiones is a Powered by the Apocalypse telenovela game, and so the big kind of demo push is going to be coming at Metatopia in Morristown, New Jersey. And the third thing is something I'm very excited about. We've just launched it, Protean City Comics, which is a teenage superhero actual play, mostly using Masks: A New Generation, but also dabbling into all sorts of different things. We're basically trying to see what can we do with a single actual play thing, and how much can Brandon geek out about his very favorite weird comic book tropes.
Ugh. Brandon, everything that you're working on, like, hits my heart in such a way. Like, I am such a fan of all of the things you're working on, and I cannot... Listeners, go pause this, go take it all in, come back, we'll be here. Alright, you're back. Great. Good.
I'm so excited for all of these things. Like, I've just been like... I just feel blessed and happy to be working on all these different projects.
They're good.
And, like, There's another game that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about yet, but, like, there's so many cool things happening. I can't wait.
I'm going to ask you about that after the show. But in the meantime, we are playing Apocalypse World 2nd Edition. You know, it's going to be a little bit of an odd game. It is a GM-less take on Apocalypse World that we are playing today, particularly because we are revisiting two fan-favorite characters, two of my favorite characters.
Me too.
So why don't you introduce us to your character this week?
So Sir Darian is a 6-inch tall mouse who used to live in a fantasy realm. Not long ago. I guess, did we establish how long ago?
A few months ago. It's been maybe 6 months to a year.
Yeah, it feels very long for Sir Darian, the Mouse Knight. And since then, he's now in an apocalyptic wasteland, where he has requisitioned a kind of mobile junk hauler mech sort of thing, that normally a human would more or less just lock themselves into and be able to be a little bit stronger, a little bit more powerful, but for a 6-inch tall fantasy mouse, there's quite a bit of additional strength behind his arms. Do you want me to go through look and everything, or not quite yet?
No, well, yeah, describe the look of the robot suit that you're wearing.
Alright, sounds good. You know that mech's, I think it's from Aliens?
Yeah, the alien like cargo suit that Ripley wears at the end of the movie, yeah.
It's literally that, But
Okay.
where Ripley's head would be is a mouse holding on to the levers.
Excellent. I love it so much.
And it's additionally just strapped down with entirely too many frickin' weapons.
Sure.
He himself is a gray mouse with a notched ear and a big nasty scar across his face with a old-fashioned rapier at his hip and a cape, of course.
Of course.
On him, not the mech.
Right. So, I am playing, hold on. My name is, Randy Hogg. Friends call me the Warthog, so you can call me the Warthog, because, we're friends. I'm kind of friends with everybody. It's kind of my thing. So here's the sitch. About a year and a half ago, I was driving my car. I was doing some donuts. I fell through a portal, and I wound up in a fantasy world. I met up with Sir Darian. We hit it off like fireworks. We were the best of friends. We went on some adventures. We thought that we found the portal that would take me back to our world. I say our world, but like Earth in 2017. But it turns out that actually sent us into a whole different world, like a Mad Max type situation. Mad Max was a movie that we had in my world. It was real cool. It had Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson was an actor that we had in my... I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, I've been here. We landed here a couple months ago, and I tell you, this is actually a bit of a love story, because little bit after I arrived, I met Christina, and she was just the most beautiful cherry red 1968 Mustang that a boy has ever seen. It was love at first sight. So I kind of spent the last 6 months driving around, fixing her up. I kind of swapped out the motor for a V8. I put in a sound system. It's real nice. I pimped out the ride, so to speak. And, boy, it's real nice. It's a beautiful car. It's fast. It's loud. It's sleek. It handles on a hairpin. It's a little bit loud, but, it's fine. And doesn't really fit more than like 1.5 people. It's fine. It's a good car. I love Randy so much.
Indeed it is, Randall.
So, let's dive in.
Fantastic.
We've got some love letters to set up the situation. I will read I will read Darian's first.
Fantastic.
All right, here we go. Our story begins. After the shootout with Dust Witch in Gasoline Gulch, you made a hard choice. Randy had to go ahead and lead the fleeing pilgrims to the Promised Land up north, and you stayed behind. Far as you know, he got to salvation, just kept on driving. By the time you got there, Randy was long gone. Ever since, you've been walking the blighted earth, sort of a modern-day knight-errant. This is where we find you today, in an empty warehouse on the edge of the Cleveland tar pits, staring down something big, something nasty, something not a damn bit human. Roll me plus hard.
All right, rolling now. That is a 9 plus 2, 11.
All right, choose 3. You kill it dead. You find something valuable. You don't get stuck. No one gets hurt. And nothing catches on fire.
Ooh. I don't get stuck.
All right.
I kill it dead. And I find something valuable.
All right.
Things are going to be on fire and people are going to get hurt. That's just how it goes.
Yep, that's how it goes. Okay. Yeah. So you're shooting it out with this thing, and the tar lights up, right? Tar pits start
Amazing.
burning. Barrels of tar start exploding. Warehouse workers are fleeing. They're, getting trapped under girders. It's a rough scene. Half of the warehouse is gone.
Probably shouldn't have used my grenade tube.
Probably would have been a good idea to not go that hard around tar. But you're standing in this hollowed out warehouse. A bunch of very angry dock workers and warehouse workers are slowly starting to draw out shotguns and revolvers and magnums and starting to circle you a little bit. When, from out of a wall of fire, a cherry red Mustang punches through. Skids, catches one of the guys with a shotgun, knocks him off his feet.
That would be my ride.
And Darian takes a hook from the machine and, clunks it onto the back of Christina. And gives a mouse thumbs up to his dear friend Randall.
It's been a while, buddy. You ready to ride?
I think we better.
And as they're starting to zoom off, Darian just, hooks down the minigun and just starts blazing anybody that's starting to come after them.
Love it.
Now, Randy.
Yes.
I've got a letter for you as well.
All right,
here we go. Dear Randy, this world's fucking crazy. It's just like Mad Max, the new one, some of that second one, less the first one, which was kind of a romance, except the last 10 minutes. Well, you get me. It's fucking crazy and fucking awesome, and you're killing it out here. At least until all this shit with Jakabaka. Winkle told you it was a bad damn move racing Preen, but you didn't listen to him, and now you're blasting on out through the desert with a goddamn convoy of trucks dusting up your rear view set to enslave you and make you kill for their blood sport. World's fucking crazy is right. Roll plus cool.
Plus cool?
On a hit? Yeah, plus cool. On a hit, you've got a good half day on Jakabaka and his shitpile circus. On a 7 to 9, choose 2. On a 10 plus, choose 1.
Okay. 9 plus 2 is 11.
All right. So here are your choices. Christina got beat up. You're going to have to find a place to work on her soon, or she's not going any further. Preen put one of his damn mind spells on you. There's no hiding from Jakabaka, and you can feel him on your neck. Or a bit of shrapnel caught your side. That's going to leave a mark. And 2 harm.
I'm gonna go with one of the damn mind spells.
Preen and his damn mind spells. You know what's really funny? I also chose Dustwitch from the name list. And had to swap it for Preen at the last second.
It's a good name. That's a solid... The name list they give is really good, and some of them you just look at and you're like, I gotta use that.
Yeah, there's a couple on this list that I love so much. I love Rothball. Rothball is just the dumbest person. Rothball isn't on this list, is it? Rothschild is on this list. Where's Rothball? That's okay, that doesn't matter. That's a, side quest. Save Rothball.
So, we blast through the folding door, or the swinging open door of the warehouse, and we are barreling down the highway. Or highway, and dusty plain, rather.
Yeah, the feet of Darian's mech are just bouncing a little bit and kind of dragging as he tries to get it set up to lift the legs up and let the wheels go into place.
So good to see you, Randy,
calls out Darian from the back.
Good to see you too, buddy. You been taking care of yourself?
I appreciate the timing, definitely.
At that point, he's got kind of Heelys on the back of the mech, so that he can roll along behind Christina relatively easily.
They were definitely an addition that we had to put on there because this exact scenario had happened 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, because there were a time or two that Darian had to leave his mech and was very upset, and they had to go back and get it. It was a whole thing. But Darian crawls out from the mech and kind of scoots his way all along the outside of Christina on the back seats, and then gets up to the front seat where he sits down on a speaker.
Randy turns down the volume because he's been playing the song Headlong by Queen. He turns down the volume so that the bass isn't bumping Darian. And he's like, all right, so we're back. We're here, the old crew's together, and I got good news for you.
I'm glad to hear it. I've had not a lot of good news lately.
And he kind of reaches up and paws at the scar on his face.
Oh, dang.
That scar's new.
Oh, dang, but, good. Oh, that's Dang, buddy, I'm sorry. I should have been there. I'm sorry.
No, Randy, you had your work and I had my work, and that's quite all right. It's how it had to be. This place doesn't leave a lot of space for honor among thieves.
It sure doesn't, but that kind of is why that's kind of related to the news that I got for you, buddy. And at that moment, he's checking his mirror a lot. He's kind of like scratching at the back of his neck, and he's kind of shakes it off a little bit. He's like, I got good news. I got good news.
Good news. I'd love to hear some.
So, this place is awesome, right? This place is cool. I love it. He kind of like gestures at the face. It's not perfect, but like I'm into it. But I've been looking for a way out.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting to somewhere a bit more civilized would do my heart well.
I think I found it.
No fucking shit.
I think I found it.
Okay. Where? Is it where? Are you going?
Where do you think I'm driving us to, buddy?
Oh, excellent. This is a fine day.
Pull up. Okay, so here's the deal. Two things. One, good news, bad news. Go into the glove compartment. I got a map. It should take us right there. That's the good news. Bad news. And he kind of starts scratching at his neck again. We might be getting followed a little bit.
We get a shot from the camera that includes the back of Randy's neck, and there's just this blackness spreading across. Like it covers the shape of 2 or 3 of the bones in his spine, and it's just starting to leak outward.
Ugh, that's awful. Yeah, he's kind of like swatting at it a little bit, kind of like you would with a fresh tattoo where you're not supposed to scratch it.
And Darian scoots on down to the glove compartment and opens it up. He has a second that he tries to just open the map up in the glove compartment, because he can sit rather comfortably in it, and then realizes that that's just not going to fly and has to like scramble up holding the paper to spread it out, sitting on top of it.
Yeah, and it's real roughly drawn. It is the back of a Burger King wrapper that has been scribbled on with a Sharpie.
Then he definitely has it flopped the wrong way first. And he reads out,
"The Burger King. He can lead us back to our land?"
I mean... okay, that's pretty funny. And Darian, I always told you I'd be honest with you about this, but like, the urge to make fun of you about this is strong, so I'm just gonna be honest and tell you you're looking at the wrong side of the paper.
Oh, okay. It got caught, and it's a very brightly colored on this side. It looks... I didn't see it on the map.
No, you know what? Now that you're explaining it, and plus it's got the words burger, it's got a king in it, so I can see how you would think. Understood, buddy.
There are a lot of kings in my land.
He's hopping off of it and flipping it over.
Okay, let me see.
And he's kind of like putting his nose a little closer to sniff along at the paper and to look at it, trying to hold it down. He's got to use most of his body to hold it down, because with Christina going as fast as she is, it's easy for this paper to go flying.
As you look at the map, roll me read a sitch.
All right, absolutely. That is not my strong suit. But that is a 7.
Okay, ask one question.
What should I be on the lookout for?
The thing about the map is it's got written on Sharpie like X's and like what look like poorly scribbled skulls and crossbones. And it's it says it's got a circle on the top that says Newton, but it's also got like skulls and crossbones. It's got at least one drawing kind of a little bit to the southeast of where Newton is circled that's like a volcano type shape. It's got a little cloud of smoke busting out of it. And there's just a few skulls, and you can tell that they are there are, because the drawings are you see a few drawings of like patches of trees and this volcano situation, and then there are these skulls and crossbones, which you have a pretty good idea do not indicate something natural. They indicate something man-made, such as like traps or turrets or something.
Yeah, so looking at the map, Sir Darian's taking all that in and then just goes,
Did fucking Winkle draw this one?
Wait, hold on. Do you know Winkle?
Oh my god, you're working with Winkle?
Look, I'm not working with Winkle. I'm kind of... Okay, you know how you always say that a knight should not steal and a knight should not flee?
True.
And a knight should face tyranny head on?
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, you're working with Winkle.
Well, let me. Can I fit? Darian, can I finish?
Yes, you can finish.
Can I finish?
Just finish explaining to me that you're working with Winkle, who's the dumbest sack of rocks this side of... I don't even know what the side of anything is, because I've not been... Detroit? Is that a thing? That's a thing here.
That is a thing here. Yeah, it was. I mean, it still is, but it was. It is and it was.
So he's the dumbest sack of rocks in the entire Detroit Rock City. Whole sacks of them, and he's the dumbest fucking one of them.
Well, okay, you're not wrong, but here's and this is why I'm not working with Winkle. I was merely saying that I am not a knight, so I may have stolen a map from Winkle.
Okay.
And I may have come across a circus of blood sport. I guess you could technically call it. And this is the moment when I think we see we see shapes on the horizon in the rear view. We get a shot of the rear view mirror and we see shapes on the horizon, and that blackness on the back of the neck starts to spread a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. We get a shot of Darian from the front, and like with the huge plumes of smoke behind him, saying,
"So were the portals in the circus?"
No. We're going from the circus. It's a whole situation, but they kind of know they're kind of on our. Oh, they're on our tail. God damn it! God damn it!
And Darian spins around, grabbing his own tail and like kind of pushing it to the side, and seeing the enormous plume of smoke. At this point, I think we're actually about to hit a move.
Okay.
Because there is a road war move, outdistance or outtake another vehicle.
Yes.
So I think it's maybe time for you to roll that.
All right, that's gonna be cool. Modified.
Yeah, that's
by
a roll plus.
Oh, sorry.
Modified by the vehicle's relative speed. You got it.
Yes. So that's gonna be a +3 total because Christina's got +1 speed. That is a 9 plus 3 is 12.
Oh wow. Okay. So on a 10+, you outdistance them and get away, or else overtake them and draw alongside. So we can get away for now.
Yes. They know where we're. They still know where we're at because of that pesky mind spell.
Yes.
Yeah, but we kind of
Yeah, what does that look like?
So what it looks like is actually what happens is Randy's driving, and he points. He kind of like sees. We get a shot out of the driver's side window, and we see a smoke, like a factory with burning smokestacks, and we see a shot of the map, and we see the smokestacks, and then slightly to the east of that, we see one of these skulls and crossbones. So Randy turns to Darian and he goes, "Buddy, you know that little seatbelt that we made for you out of the rubber band?"
Yes.
But it's time now, and he like slams on the brake, turns 90 degrees, and guns it towards this man-made trap.
And Darian is trying to quickly get the seatbelt on, but things are a little bit too crazy, and he's not. He initially is trying to get the seatbelt, and then you notice that he's given that up, and is starting to try to crawl back towards his suit.
Okay. I'm going to call for a move for that.
Okay.
I'm going to call for that to be either deal with bad terrain or maybe move... Let's see. Yeah, I think that's going to be the move I'm going to call for.
Let me see.
So it's going to
deal with bad terrain.
It is a vehicle. It is a road war move.
I don't have a vehicle's handle.
Oh, so you're going to add +1 to that. Because Christina has wonderful handling.
Okay, sounds good. Alright, that is a... Oh wait, plus my cool. So that brings me to a 9 plus 1 brings me to a 10.
Alright, you fly through untouched.
So fly through untouched. Alright, so we get a shot of Darian, like, scrambling along and getting bumped up and catching onto something. And then, like, crawling into the back of the mech and doing the seatbelt fastening there. And starting to just, like, pull down his different weapon systems and get things ready.
We get a shot of the car and the mech swerving. We see what it is are some cable traps. Like, as we're driving, the cables kind of come up to slice the tires to take out the car.
Perfect.
Randy hits the brake again, and he slams on the car right. He slams the car's hard right, and it flips. He flips the car and, like, lands pretty effortlessly, like, in the upright position over the cable. One of the cars that's chasing us slices the tires. It goes skidding. It trumbles. It lands upside down. Randy hits the brake, stops the car, looks back, and just goes, That was pretty good. That was very good.
That was very good. Let's make sure they're not going to follow.
And at that point, Darian just unleashes with the minigun.
Alright.
This is a new addition since the last time you saw him. And it's like this just huge hulking thing that's just firing enormous amounts of lead.
So the car is stopped, so Randy, a second too late, like, is plugging up his ears. He's like, God, no, that's really loud. It's very cool, though. But it's real loud. Alright, give me that lay down fire move.
I was gonna say, I think that might be lay down fire, but I'm not sure. I just rolled a 12 plus 2 is 14.
We are crushing this.
We are destroyed. The apocalypse has nothing on us. So I'm gonna provide covering fire, allowing another character to move or act freely. You.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna provide suppressing fire, denying another character to move or act freely, which is the person in whoever is in that vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna take an opportune shot, inflicting some harm, but -1 harm on an enemy within my reach.
Yeah, so you light up this car. This car is lit up.
Yeah, so I'm doing 3 gang damage on this car.
The car stops existing, basically. It was like a step up from like an armored up dune buggy, and now it's just sort of scrap heaps on the ground.
There's a wheel rolling off into the desert.
As the car, we kind of see the wheel bouncing off, and then it turns into the wheel of Christina as, like, we're back just on the road.
Perfect. And what's playing through the radio right now?
Randy has flipped through, he's flipped through the smartphone that he's been able to charge now that he's got a cigarette lighter in his car. He's been able to charge his smartphone. He still doesn't get cell signal. He can't call anybody. But, like, he's able to pull up his his Play Music.
Nice.
And he's playing, the Immigrant Song. I come from the land of the ice and snow, and he's just, like, he's just thrashing, banging on the wheel.
And Darian is sitting in the front. He has his sword out, and he's just, like, carefully sharpening it over and over again.
So, Randy,
I'm sorry.
You're working with Winkle, and now this is the way out.
Yeah, well, again, not really working with Winkle, sort of, screw him over to get the... I'm sorry, I'm getting hung up on the semantics, but, and he kind of, holding the wheel, you see him do the air quotes, and he's like, it doesn't... Yes, this is. So let me tell you about Newton. And I am actually
Okay.
also. I'm going to call for a roll for myself and give Reed a sitch. As
I was going to suggest that.
I'll tell you the big details. He tells you Newton is sort of a community of. I'd call them nerds, but I think they prefer tech survivalists. I've heard them called tech
Scholars
fetishists.
and clerics.
Yes, that sort of thing. And here's my plus sharp, which I believe is a +1. Let me double check that.
I've learned not to be trustful of clerics.
That's 10 + 1. That's 11. That's 11.
So, what number do we need to roll in order to beat the apocalypse?
I feel like once we roll, I feel like we're getting pretty close. Trees are popping up around us.
Yeah.
Listen, after the game of Blackout, after the dice rolls I have in the Blackout episode, which listeners, if you haven't heard, you should go back and listen to, because I roll real badly.
Not well. Not well.
I am owed this. Okay, so I get 3 questions.
That's fair.
I get 3 questions.
Yes.
And so this is sort of information that Randy is conveying to Darian. So the first thing I'm going to ask is, who is in control here? Here being in Newton.
So, I'm going to kind of interpret this as, like, who is Newton? What's going on?
Yeah.
Does that sound fair?
Yes.
Okay. Newton is someone who has just access to information. There was this library with just tons of medical textbooks. It used to be in a university. And Newton basically came in, found the poor bastard that was holed up there, and just got information far beyond what anybody in this world could possibly hope to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Newton herself is not super educated, but she has people that she has figured out and has them doing the research and the knowledge that she needs to get things running. She basically tells them what needs to happen and gives them an idea of where to start, and they make it happen.
All right. What's our best way in?
Our best way in is probably stealthy, which is not super great. That does not play to either of our strengths.
It does not, no.
They get lots and lots of just oddments and barter brought in on a pretty regular basis because they're real closed off. Mm-hmm. They do a decent enough job searching it, but really just people know not to fuck with Newton.
Mm-hmm.
So there's times when they're a little lax. And besides, Randy knows someone who's been supposedly running with Newton.
And that leads to my third question. Which enemy is most vulnerable to me? What's the weak point that we can exploit in Newton?
Rothball. Rothball, because I had to get Rothball in. Rothball used to be another kind of driver, and he still likes to work with his hands and get stuff done. He does a lot of the just bringing stuff in, kind of strips down vehicles to make sure that there's not a bunch of shit loaded in there that they don't want in. And because the two of you rolled together, and he's just kind of a generally nice guy, he's ready to go.
Okay.
He's also possibly dumber than Winkle.
I like that. That's a quality that...
He has never met a secret that he couldn't give away. And just the moment his damn mouth opens, it's like he's just spitting big ol' hairballs of the wrong thing to say. Hence Rothball.
Alright. Excellent.
And then you get a +1 on any of those whenever you act on them.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Which is very nice.
So yeah, we, alright, I'm gonna set up I'm gonna set up a little dangerous situation right now, and then we will get
All right, fantastic.
And then we will get to Newton.
Cool.
So this black mark on the back of Randy's neck. We get a close-up shot on it. We've been driving. The sun is starting to set. The second sun is close behind it. The sky is turning that sort of Kirby crackle color from the Psychic Maelstrom that sort of has replaced Twilight.
Yeah.
And we get a close-up shot. You know, the two of us are just kind of sitting. We've transitioned into Beast of Burden by the Rolling Stones. And the situation's kind of chill. We get a close-up on the back of Randy's neck as a little red spot starts to form among the black. And suddenly spider legs start, coming out of the sides of Randy's neck. And this thing kind of becomes a very giant spider. About the size of 2 fists.
And is it still part of Randy's neck?
It is sort of pulling itself out, it has pulled itself out of Randy's neck, so it's now just on the back of his neck. And he doesn't quite feel it, because it still just feels like that itchy feeling of, somebody knows that I'm here. So what does Darian do?
Darian has been sitting in the front, and is kind of chewing on a little bit of jerky that no one should ask too many questions about.
Sure.
He's got his sword at his side, just as always, but he's nowhere near his good old big weapons. And he sees this spider thing coming out of the neck, and he starts out trying to stay very, very calm, and says in just a quiet, soft voice,
Randy, I'm going to leap at your neck now. Don't worry. It's very important that you don't move. Or if you do, that you move forward. Because if you move backward, I think you're going to get badly hurt.
Okay. Do we want to count? Do we want to do a 3 count, or are you just gonna jump?
Let's do a 3 count. I think it's a good idea.
Are we doing 1, 2, 3, go, or 1, 2, 3?
I think really whichever one you want to go with would be absolutely fine.
Let's do 1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
1, 2, 3, go. And he leans forward.
And Darian leaps forward with his sword, letting out just like a screeching wail as he swings towards the spider.
All right, so you make. We're both going to make a move here. I'm going to try to do something under fire as I try to keep the car moving.
I think so.
Under fire.
Oh, yeah.
That's a 14.
We won. We beat the apocalypse.
We did it.
We did it. We win. And I think I'm probably engaging in single combat with someone.
Because this thing is about the size of you.
Yeah. And that is a 5 plus 1 plus... So that's 6 plus my heart is 2. So that's an 8. So I exchange harm, but first roll plus hard. On a 7 to 9, choose 1. I'm going to inflict terrible harm. And then after you exchange harm, do you prefer to end the fight now or fight on? If both of you prefer to end the fight now, it ends. If both of you prefer to fight on, it continues, and you must make the move again. If one of you prefers to end the fight, though, and the other prefers to fight on, then the former must choose flee, submit to the latter's mercy, or fight on after all.
So how much harm are you dealing this thing?
Well, right now, I don't think I count as a gang.
Right.
Because I'm not in the mech.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, yes, I still count as a gang, but I feel like that doesn't make sense.
Sure.
So I do 2 harm.
I think 2 harm is enough to kill this thing.
Okay.
That's a pretty considerable amount of harm. That's enough to kill this thing, but you are going to suffer, I'll throw 2 harm back at you.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm now at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I think that you get beat up. The two of you, scrap around the car as Randy, is just... He's, not looking at the road, but, the car is, weaving around obstacles, and it's just, it's a thing of beauty. It's the perfect union between man and machine.
Perfect. Although, actually, I'm now seeing I also, because I suffer harmed, I now have to roll plus harm suffered.
Right.
Oh, jeez, my high rolls are not helping me now. I just rolled a 12.
Alright, I can choose one.
Yeah.
or choose 2 from the 7. Okay, yeah. I'm going to choose 2 from the 7 to 9 list.
Okay.
You miss noticing something important.
Nice.
And you lose track of someone or something you're attending to.
Nice. Is that by any chance Jakabaka Circus?
It is. They're both Jakabaka Circus.
Nice.
You think that you've got this thing killed, right? You think that you got this thing killed. It flies away and it like flutters out of the window. Because I think the dramatic end is you kind of stab it and like swing your little sword as Randy like rolls down the window manually faster than any living being has ever rolled down the window on a Mustang, and the spider flies out. So you've lost track of it because it's outside of the window. You miss noticing that it is still like hanging on to the like it's just out of view of both of us, and this is when the shapes and the fire and like the thumping start coming as I think now it's morning. We're real close. We can kind of see Newton in the distance. But now we also hear the thumping of the war drums behind us.
And Darian starts to move and say,
"This is bad news. This looks like bad news. Listen. Do you know where the portal leads?"
Do you want the honest answer, or do you want me to say yes?
The honest answer, because it's important for this.
Maybe. Okay. It ain't like the portal from that brought us here, right? It ain't like that.
Okay.
It's more of it's a computerized thing, so I have to assume there are controls. But I don't know, but I'm honest with you right now, Darian, I don't know for sure.
Alright. Then I think we better start dealing with all of this.
And he gives a nod towards all of the smoke and burning rubber starting to come around. I think we just it starts with just a dust plume, like raising up and just starting to block out the sun. It's an enormous convoy with just thundering trucks. And
I think we get a shot of Randy and Darian just like locking eyes with each other. And then we cut and we get a close-up on all of the trucks and the dune buggies and the thumping drums. And we cut back, and Christina and the mech are just side by side facing it, head on.
Yeah. We get a shot of Tum Tum, who is just this enormous lumbering shape with grayed skin holding an umbrella up on top of one of the trucks. And he's speaking out with 2 voices through a megaphone and just calling out, "Running from us, will you?
Come. If you come nicely, then we'll get to play in a sweet, lovely way. Otherwise, it's my way."
What do you do?
Randy hops onto one of his car's odd little upgrades. He hops onto the speakerphone, and grabs a little like ham radio communicator, and blasts out over the speaker system. "I'll be right there, buddy." And he winks to Darian, slams on the gas, and starts hurtling straight for the convoy.
Amazing. Are you using a vehicle as a weapon?
I am indeed. And in fact,
Or is your intention not to? Okay.
I'm using a vehicle as a weapon. I am also doing something, heading straight into danger without hedging my bets, giving me +1 armor, and I am leading a small gang, so you will get +1 armor as well.
Awesome. Darian at this point is also quickly moving back to his mech and just starting to like get things lined up. And now I'm wishing that I'd brought that sniper. And I think we get Darian going like,
2 weeks ago I had a sniper rifle. That would have been very useful at this point. But I guess when the going gets tough.
And he pulls on down his minigun. But I think first you're using a vehicle as a weapon.
Yeah, which is going to be I go aggro, or use a combat, or use a battle move. I'm going to look through the battle moves. I think go aggro is the right one.
I think it is.
Yeah. I'm gonna go aggro. I am throwing the car specifically at Tum Tum.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I'm planning on throwing the car at Tum Tum and, like, hopping, like, rolling out of it and hoping that that the rest of the cars either scatter or that they are met with a hail of gunfire.
Perfect.
Yeah. So there it is. So I've made it clear what I want. What I want them to do is scatter. I want Jakabaka Circus to scatter. And I'm throwing a car at them. Roll plus hard. It's not great. That's a 12! A direct hit.
You know what, though?
What's that?
They have to choose, and there's no fucking way that they're giving up that easily.
This true.
Is remember, Jakabaka Circus is a relentless fucker. So they're forcing your hand and sucking it up.
The direct hit inflicts 3 harm, plus 1 massive, minus the target vehicle's massive and armor. Treat 0 harm as less as V harm. So they are taking 4 massive minus their massive and armor.
Okay.
So what do we want to call their massive and armor?
I don't know. They've got a big... I was picturing like a big truck that they're in.
Okay, so I actually do have the stats for that up, because they're on my character sheet.
Oh, right,
nice thing about the driver. That's going to be massive 3. We'll give them... So we'll call it a net 0... We'll call that a net 0, 0 harm, but I'm still going to make them roll the harm. Still going to make them... They take 0 harm.
Okay. Are we sure we did that right?
Yes. Because they inflict 3 harm plus massive minus the target vehicle's massive and armor. Treat 0 harm and less as V harm.
Okay. I'm not huge on that.
Do we want to give them less armor because they're out in the open?
Yeah, maybe. Just because, like, otherwise not a lot happens with that move, right?
Yeah, okay. So we'll give them... okay. Here's what's going to happen. Because we said that Tum Tum was out in the open, right?
Yeah.
Tum Tum is gone.
Perfect.
We get that great Mad Max, because this is like Mad Max, more like the second one, sort of like the fourth one, not quite like the first one, which is more like a romance story. We get that great Mad Max death shot, where it's the close-up on the face and it's... the car collides, it goes up, Randy hits the ground, I'm gonna say because he rolled really well, plus he's got armor, that he, like, rolls, he's beat up, but he's okay.
Perfect. And as the car goes over, there is a moment where we see Randy look back over his shoulder, and the mech is disconnected. Because during the roll, Sir Darian disconnected it to hurl himself towards an 18-wheeler to board a moving vehicle. How fast are we going? What's the speed right now? Do we know?
They're going pretty quick. I would call it, like, general car speed.
Okay. Do you know, is that like a 1, a 2?
We'll call that 1.
Okay, it's a good thing, because I just rolled. And I rolled a 6 plus my cool of 2 minus 1, bringing me to 7.
Alright.
So, Darian, just unlatches his mech as Randy is hurling the car around, and just clings on to this, just like the hands of it just sink into the side of the 18-wheeler. And he's starting to try to, like, claw his way towards the front of the truck. Now, at this point, Randy is not on his own. There are, sorry, were you saying something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. There are two motorcycles that are kind of coming up on either side of you. One of them is Balls, who you recognize.
Mm-hmm.
And even more importantly, the other one is... Oh, crap, what the hell was the name? It started with a P? Preen.
It was Preen.
So on one of them is Balls, and the other one is Preen. two of Jakabaka's minions. And Preen is starting to sort of just is trying to make eye contact with you. And from the other side, Balls has started to unhook his big ol' magnum. What do you do?
I'm going to pull out my 38 revolver and just start shooting at tires. I'm going for a chaotic free-for-all, just to lay down as much fire on both of them as I can.
I was gonna say, that sounds like a chaotic free-for-all.
Roll plus cool. That's a 5. Where'd my other dice go? That's an 11.
Start.
That's an 11.
Oh my god. Okay, so on a 10 plus, choose 3.
I avoid taking any harm myself.
Okay.
Hold on. I think I have to check my move real quick. I believe I...
Do you need me to read them out?
No, I needed to check my move. I get an extra choice when I'm behind the wheel, but I'm not behind the wheel, so I get 3. I avoid taking any harm. I add to the chaos the combatants as a whole, inflict and suffer +1 harm.
Nice.
And I am going to take a single short action, uninterfered with, perhaps unnoticed, to take cover behind some rocks.
Nice. So, harm as established. What is the harm on your weapon?
I will tell you. 2 harm.
Alright, fantastic. And were you turning it on Preen or on Balls?
Well, I'm adding to the chaos, so everybody.
Alright, sounds great. So here's what I'm picturing, and let me know if you're feeling something else. I think Christina pulls to the side a bit, and just kind of dovetails out, and smacks one of Balls' wheels. And they just spin out and hurl down and crash hard. Preen manages to make eye contact with Randy for a second. And just this wide, terrible smile forms. Their smile is so much wider than it should be, with so many more teeth than should be there. Yeah. And what does Randy say?
Randy, he's sitting against these rocks. Christina is spinning out, adding to this chaos. He's shooting out tires. Preen has gone flying. Balls is coming at him. And what he says is he kind of starts waving his hand a little bit, and he's like, hey, and Balls just starts nodding, yeah, I'm coming. And the only thing you hear him say is, no, above you, and then half of the truck that was crushed by Christina just falls off.
Yeah, just smashes down, and we get Balls kind of stumbling forward, getting ready to fight, and then just crushed.
And Randy's just it's just to no one in particular. I know that it seems like that was sarcastic, but I really did want to try to warn him. I'm just making sure that's aware. And then he kind of ducks behind these rocks and lets Darian do what Darian does best.
Yeah, so Darian is now in his mech, and he's just kind of just slamming the claws into the side of the 18-wheeler and just kind of climbing sideways towards the front of it. And basically at the same time as he's doing that, he's kind of moving things and getting things ready, and just gets the grenade launcher ready to, it's a grenade tube, it's not a full-on launcher, but he's going to just shoot that right into the front if no one gets in his way.
Alright, take that shot.
What on earth would this be?
I'm gonna say this is probably... To shoot a grenade launcher is probably chaotic free-for-all.
Yeah, probably. Good news. First bad roll of the game.
Alright.
That would be a total of 6.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to do is add to the chaos the combatants as a whole inflict and suffer +1 harm.
Okay.
Because I'm a freaking gang and I can take it.
Yep. So you take the same harm as everyone else?
Which, if that's my harm that I would be causing, It is... Oh, geez, it's 4 harm.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. You still have that +1 armor, though, because you were led into battle.
Oh, you know what? I also subtract my armor from it, because I am wearing the armor now.
Yes.
So... I think I'm also up against a gang, so I don't think I get my bonus for being a gang.
I don't think so. Yeah, you're definitely up against a gang.
Alright, so I take 2 harm, pushing me up to 10 o'clock.
Oof.
Yep. And so the grenade just pushes goes right into the front of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And Darian's, mousy face just appears in the window for a moment. And he just, laughs out and goes,
"Ha-ha! Get fucked, Jackabaca!"
And then there's just an explosion. Mm-hmm. And his mech is just hurled, tumbling over and over and over again. It's crushed. There's smoke coming out of it. It's on fire. And the mech is just like a pile of rubble with smoke coming out of it. But that truck, I imagine, is just wrecked.
The truck is wrecked. I think this is the moment when the rest of the gang is, scattering. Because the truck, Jackabaca's circus, is the truck, and it's gone.
Yeah, so no more need for that.
The heads of the gang are gone. Everybody else is kind of scattering, because Balls is gone, Green is gone, Tum Tum's gone, the truck is gone. Scatters. Dust in the wind. Randy comes out, sees the explosion, is like, fuck, and he's just barreling towards Darian. Give me that harm.
I just made the harm roll. I should have switched out dice before I did that, because now I rolled an 11.
Alright.
So I'm out of action, it's worse than it seemed, or I choose 2 from the 7 to 9 list.
You are out of action. You are trapped underneath the truck. Because it explodes, the truck shot backwards in a 180-degree arc, and now you are pinned underneath the trailer of a tractor trailer.
Yeah, there's all sorts of weird odds and ends coming out. There's, several things that are clearly traps for within the arena, like an enormous tasing blade. And that is just, maybe an inch from Darian's fuzzy face, as he tries to, move the arms and just finds that it's not getting anywhere.
Randy?
Yeah, no, I got you, buddy. I got you, buddy. And he starts knocking on the glass, because he's already up there, because his best friend is hurt, and he's gonna make sure that he's alright. So he's like, we cut ahead. Well, no, I'm gonna make a move for this, because I really wanna...
Yeah, this might be doing something under fire.
I think that's what I'm gonna call it, yeah. This is plus cool. That's a 13. Yeah. So he gets behind the wheel of Christina. He has a tow cable. He latches, he latches Darian, because he's not really... he doesn't have the most, he's not an engineer. He's a doer, not a thinker. So he latches Randy, or he latches Darian, and just hits the gas. And eventually, Darian is thump, and just comes flying out. Randy's got to swerve the car. Darian hits the ground. The mech is beat up. Darian is beat up. Randy's like, I got you out.
Darian manages to, pull himself out from the twisted wreckage. I think, at this point, we're at the MC. This is a golden opportunity. This mech isn't going fucking anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's busted. And so Darian just kind of crawls out. He has his knife at his side, he has his sword at his side, and he goes over to, the wreckage of the mech, and kind of pats one of the sides of it and goes,
"Well, I suppose where I'm going I won't need you anymore, so,
And he looks at Randy and kind of... There's a moment of him processing what you're supposed to do with a vehicle. And he just, leans in and kisses the mech gently on the forehead before turning to one of its arms and grabbing the shotgun to rip off.
Randy nods. Nice. He learned so well. They start driving, and Christina, coughs and wheezes and makes it about, 20 feet before it just, thumps out.
Perfect.
So, I'm gonna make one, I think possibly, very possibly, one last very important roll.
Okay.
As we get to Newton, right?
Yeah.
We are walking, we've got our bags, we're limping and walking to the gates of Newton. Rothball, because Newton as a community had heard all of this go down. There were explosions.
Yeah, there's no question.
Rothball is waiting.
Yeah.
We don't look great.
Yeah, Darian's fur is definitely, like, singed. He has a layer of ash on his face.
Randy's got a big old scar, very similar to the one that Darian's got now. And is walking with a limp, and keeps looking down at his leg like, yeah, Mad Max. Mad Max had a limp.
Who's Mad Max?
It's a long story, buddy. I'll tell you another time.
Well, I hope we don't have to kill him, too.
I hope not. That dude was unkillable. You don't know. Don't worry about it. Rothball!
Well, were he just with us today?
Hey, we would have made it out there spotless. Mad Max was there.
Yeah, Rothball is, sitting out in front. They've got, like, kind of a big open garage that has, like, a door on either side to get you in, and then it closes to deal with stuff. He's got his hand securely down his pants, and, like, quickly withdraws it when he sees that there are people approaching. Was that too blue?
No, I think it's fine.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was, like, too much, because I lean in a little bit when I do post-apocalypse.
No, it's fine. It's post-apocalypse. Randy smiles and waves. Rothball! Hey! Randy?
Yeah! What?
Randy!
Hey! Randy, yeah! What you do all that shit out there?
Yeah, no, I did, like, half of it, and then my buddy, and he points to the mouse, did the other half. It's a long story. I gotta talk business with you. We can tell you the whole story later. Maybe.
So Rothball, like, puts out the same hand that was down his pants to you to, like, shake.
Randy doesn't even hesitate. Like, you'd think that he would, but it's just like, well, it's too late in the day. It's been too long. It's been a rough day.
Darian is not going for that. Like, he's kind of like, hands behind his back and giving a tight bow, as he kind of tries to avoid having half of a shotgun rising up behind his head.
So, Randy drops his backpack. It is open, and it has... Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God. It has the most impressive CD collection in it. It has 3 barter worth of CDs, and cassette tapes, and preloaded MP3 players, and a Zune.
Perfect. Amazing.
It is every piece of music that Randy has ever owned. And he drops it at Rothball's feet, and he says, you got a portal in there. We know about it. We ain't gonna tell anybody about it, but that's because we want to use it. You let us in.
And Darian is looking and going,
Randy, no, you're a traveling bard.
But I think it's time for you to seduce or manipulate.
Oh, I was gonna go for the barter move.
Oh, yeah, there is a barter move, isn't there? Where's the barter move? There's the barter move.
When you make it known you want a thing and drop jingle on it to speed it on its way, roll plus barter spent.
Oh,
it has to
yeah.
be a thing you could legitimately get this way. Plus 1 to the roll because we know that they take in information and, like, outside tech things. Yeah. So we're rolling plus 4.
Yeah.
And plus 1 because of Rothball, so plus 5.
Jeez. Is that allowed?
No, I'm going to say plus 4. We'll say plus 1 because I'm acting on the answers from earlier.
Yeah, I think it has to be plus, yeah.
But I'm dropping all of the things. This backpack has all of
barter.
my tech, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just double check to make sure I have 3 barter.
Oh, that's gonna suck in different worlds. I think you have 4 barter.
I have 4 barter. I have a lot of barter. So yeah, I'd throw all of it down, and I'm like, it's yours. Let us have that portal. That's a 15.
We win Apocalypse World.
We did it. We won Apocalypse World.
Okay. So I think Rothball, like, looks at it and starts, like, picking it up and going through it and goes, I'll be honest, I'm not sure what some of this shit is. You want me to bring it in to Dr. Newton?
That would be That would be wonderful. Don't touch that one. That is Bare Naked Lady Stunt. That is a wonderful album. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That is a wonderful record.
Ah, I understand you're plying them with women. It's a crass move, Randy.
It's not. They named themselves that. They're traveling bards a lot like I am. They're from a land called Canada. It's a little weird. Listen, remember the time that I told you about the wonderful things that happened 1 week ago?
Yes?
They were the people that told us the story of what had happened a week ago.
Ah, I recall this story of what happened a week ago.
That was them, and this is their story. It was a good album.
Very well. Chickadee China, we move on.
And we cut to the lab of Dr. Newton.
Yeah, and Dr. Newton is definitely dressed in a lab coat.
Mm-hmm.
And she just has kind of supplicants around her. She's...
Yep.
This lab is equal parts King Conan and an advanced technological lab. Rothball starts like...
She's got a lab coat over straight up like Mad Max leather jacket with a lab coat thrown over that.
What is something that is in this room that shows that she's carved decadence out of squalor?
There is... Okay, yeah, I know what it is. There is, a throne. She is actually sitting on a throne.
Nice.
That is carved, that is built out of, old before times computer towers.
Nice.
That have been rendered they've been stacked up like Lego on top of one another into the shape of a throne.
Awesome. She also has off to one side, there's kind of like a little place where some people are being educated to be more of her minions. And standing naked and with their arms and legs spread are a man and a woman in that, oh crap, what's that?
Einstein's figure of man.
Yes, in the, a woman and a man in the Einstein's figure of man. And their bodies from head to toe have been tattooed with a human skeleton. And so the doctor leading things is kind of like poking on the body and showing where everything would be for the students who are furiously writing things down.
Randy, I don't like this.
I don't either, but we're going home, buddy. Just wait. He walks up to Newton, and he just says, Dr. Newton, I presume. I've always wanted to say Dr. something, I presume. I'm sorry, Dr. Newton, I presume.
Yes, indeed. And, you've brought us some pretty little things, I understand.
Yeah, I brought you a fine collection of, pre-war art and artifacts. Some entertainment technology, I guess you could call it. It is an offering. It is a trade-off. We wish to take advantage of one trip through, and he kind of looks around and he kind of moves towards the portal, and I think two guards kind of like stand in his way.
Absolutely.
And he kind of like leans past him a little bit to just be like, your portal machine.
Interesting. We haven't had a chance to test it fully yet. Would you be willing to take a little recorder with you, that we may see what is on the other side?
If that's what it costs, that's what it'll do.
And of course the little bits of jingle and scrap you've left us.
They're yours.
And she smiles and nods, and so like someone comes in from the back and kind of just like hands you a yak back that's all busted up, but it seems to be in working condition. And Darian looks up and says,
I suppose it's time then.
And he starts to walk through. He just walks right through the legs of one of the guards.
I suppose it is. And the portal is straight up a Stargate. Like, it is a big round gate. It's water effects on the inside. Randy busts out laughing when he sees it. He's like, it can't look like that. I'm sorry. It's a very lovely portal machine. It looks very nice.
We spent quite a lot of time making sure it It works very functionally, we assume, though nothing's come back from it yet, except for that one time.
And she glances off to the side, and there's a fellow over there, a Bondo, who is just slack-jawed, and when eyes are on him, his lips pull back and he just starts like...
Randy, you...
Great.
Randy, you have grown to like this world, am I wrong?
I like this world well enough.
We don't know what's on the other side.
I mean, here's, we didn't know what was on the other side when we ran through from those skeletons. Hell, I didn't know what was on the other side when I fell down that mudslide. I kind of like this world. I liked Christina. I could probably fix Christina up if I really wanted. But you know what, buddy? I really like finding out what's on the other side of that portal. And you know what the truth is? You didn't like this world.
And he kind of shifts himself awkwardly because he knows that that's true. And he and that's...
His eyes narrow and he says, there could be other portals. It could be that we can find one that we know will bring you home. We'll go to Canada. We'll see these bare-naked ladies. You'll love it. I mean, we don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah, you're right. We could, and we don't. And the portal starts glowing blue as they activate it, and they start hitting the buttons.
This is quite droll. I wish they'd just make a decision. If they don't, shoot them.
And Randy kind of shoots a cocksure grin, and he says, but there's only one way to find out, buddy.
And Sir Darian raises up his hands in like a pick-me-up gesture.
He plops him right on his shoulder. He plops Darian right on his shoulder. And unlike when they ran through in the temple, being chased by skeletons, they don't leap through it. They don't run through it. They don't throw themselves into it. They simply walk through the portal and see what is on the other side. And for now, I think that's game.
I think so. Oh, that was so much fun, Jeff.
That was good. That was really good.
I really enjoyed that. Oh, that was excellent.
That was so much fun. Brandon, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was a blast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm always so ecstatic to play with you. It's always such a fun time.
Thoroughly agreed. Thoroughly agreed. So real quick, before we wrap up the show, where can people find your work online?
Oh, geez. Okay. So I am on... So Twitter is honestly probably the fastest, easiest way to find me. I'm at Dr. Captain Cobalt on Twitter. I also have my two podcasts, Stop Hack and Roll, which is at Stop Hack and Roll or stophackandroll.com. And newly launching Masks AP Protean City Comics, which is at Protean City or proteancity.com. Let me make sure I'm right about that.
I often have to do that when people ask me, for specific things.
Yes.
So I feel you.
I am right. It's proteancity.com. And we should have a couple of episodes up once this episode drops. We're in basically launch week as we record right now. So if long backlogs of APs are intimidating for you, come check us out. I think we're doing some fun things.
I know the people involved with it, and I can confidently say that it's probably amazing. So yeah, go listen to that. Go listen to Stop Hack and Roll. Go follow Brandon on Twitter. Check out Pasión de las Pasiones when it comes out, because that game ruled.
You were so delightful in that game, Jeff. Can I just say, oh my gosh, I had so much fun having you in that game, and I hope that we get a chance to play again soon.
I so thoroughly want to play it again, Brandon. You don't even understand.
Just maybe not with Randy and Sir Darian.
Yeah, I don't think they would fit really well into the world of telenovelas. Brandon, thank you so much for coming on Party of One. This was a blast. This was amazing. I am going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show.
Would you mind telling him that I say hi?
Brandon says hi, future me. Take it away. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Brandon for coming onto the show. That game was so good. It really, truly... Dang, it was a good episode. I'm so happy with it. Be sure to check the show notes for links to all of the amazing work that Brandon is doing, from Stock Hack and Roll to Protean City Comics to Pasión de las Pasiones. It's all so freaking good, and I think you're going to love all of it. Also, be sure to follow Brandon on Twitter at Dr. Captain Cobalt. Then while you're on Twitter, follow this show at Party of One Podcast. Then head on over to Facebook and like the show at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. If you enjoyed the show, consider leaving us a nice iTunes review, a social media shout-out, or a word-of-mouth recommendation. All of those things help us find new listeners, grow, and do bigger, better, and cooler things. You can also consider backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/partyofonepodcast. Patreon backers get access to mini podcasts, bonus material, and interviews, and Patreon dollars help pay for hosting fees, equipment costs, and convention appearances. Speaking of convention appearances, there are a few different gaming conventions I'm going to be at November. I'll be at Metatopia in Morristown, New Jersey from the 2nd to the 5th, a Catacon in Dayton, Ohio from the 9th to the 12th, and PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania from the 16th to the 19th. I guess also before and after that because I live in Philadelphia. You get the idea. If you want to hear more from me, check out All My Fantasy Children, the podcast in which Aaron Gaetano Saez and I take your listener prompts and spin them into beautiful, thriving, vibrant role-playing game children. You can find that at allmyfantasychildren.com. Party of One is produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran, featuring the D&D Sluggers. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming onto the show, or you have a really good GIF recipe to send me, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. Well, that's it for me. Until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.
Never gonna die.